down, and after that, she gonna pat my back. So, ladies, shake it, shake it, shake that healthy butt. Baby got LA bass, the OB.
I am Jimmy Pew, and I am the Veteran Volunteer Activity Coordinator in Las Vegas. So we are transitional housing for homeless veterans. We have 132 transitional beds, 2 female rooms with 8 beds. We have 200 rooms up above, so that's permanent housing. We take a guy or gal veteran off the street, clean them up, Our goal is to help them transition to permanent housing where they can go and live their lives happily. We offer some life skills classes so they hopefully get out there and can walk on their own and not come back. It's a camaraderie without the violence. I love it. I joined July 17th, 2001, before the planes. I joined the Air Force Reserve, air transportation journeyman. Yeah. I was a craftsman 7 level by the time I retired. 5 deployments in support of Iraqi freedom and enduring freedom. I learned how to rig parachutes out at March Air Force Base. I also was a heavy equipment operator, loaded airplanes. We're actually the boots on the ground that load the planes and unload the planes. Rig parachutes, we move everything from bread, bodies, bullets, and big old trucks. It's a very physical job. Spent almost 10 years on active duty as a reservist because I really enjoyed what I did. September 11th, 2021, which is my grandmother's birthday, and the end of the wars. So I only signed up for 2. So I decided to nix, to get out, retire, spend more time with my kids. So, well, for me to get here, I had to give up time with my kids, which is not something I normally do. But I saw the reward of bringing U.S. vets out to a different audience out here in North Las Vegas, since we're downtown. And most of the people we talked to had no idea what U.S. Vets is and what our mission is. So I feel it was worthwhile. I got to see a lot of my friends that are in other groups, run other organizations and help them connect with people. I think I made a couple meaningful connections for a few of them. So for me, that was worth it. I'll never get that time back with my kids, but I kind of have to weigh out whether or not it's a worthwhile event for me to miss time with them. And I think today was. So what's the hesitation for them wanting to talk to us? Well, a lot of the time is they'd have no idea what we are. They think we're an extension of the VA, which we're not. We work with the VA on their GPD, Grant Per Diem program, which is how we operate, right? So we work with the VA, but we're not the VA. I told people I work at US Vets. They're like, oh, so you work at the hospital? No, I don't work at the hospital. I work at a shelter. It's not even a shelter. It's a transitional housing facility. And, I think there's a stigma behind homelessness that thinks, if they do know what we are, that, all that, just like the whole crazy, dirty homeless vet, addict vet, alcoholic vet. That's something that I'm actively working on changing by promoting sobriety. And then once I tell people what I do and how I help the vets, then, okay, now we're plugged in. But before that, even me, I'm from Las Vegas. I never knew what US Vets was. And it's to get the mission of US Vets out there to people. Because a lot of people don't know what US Vets is, and they should know, because it's really important.
Oh my gosh, MVP's another game changer. The camaraderie, just the interaction, the opportunity to tell his story and for others to hear his story. He had surgery this week, so I got to spend the whole week with him. He told me stories that he'd never told me before. Some of them hurt my heart because of what he's been through. Not knowing that. But the camaraderie and the chance to share those stories with other like-minded people, it's just incredible. This year, 20 years of service comes down to this last year. And his involvement here, his involvement with MB, his involvement with just the community, the veteran community. And it's really opened my eyes, too. I had no idea. I always tried to believe I was a good, supportive mom of my vet. But I've learned so much with his involvement and how important it is for vets to be with other vets and support one another. And it's just, for a non-vet, it's hard to understand exactly what that means. But seeing it, it's just, I wish he'd have gotten involved sooner, to be honest.
All right, I'm gonna go home now. I usually have my Veterans AA meeting I go to, but we're doing this. Because I go because I'm looking for vets. So it's like part of the outreach too.
Yeah.
Because I want to reach as many as I can. And if I find vets that want to come and be like part of my speakers when I have speaker meetings, which I usually don't let too many of them do it anyway. I'd rather just have the internet do the talking for me.
Yep.
Well, I never really had a large drinking issue. When I came back from my deployments, I sure as hell did. But the day I started working here is the day I decided to stop and go completely straight edge, sober. It's 300 and... What am I at? I'm almost at a year, because I'm almost at a year here. It's been tough because there's been some days that shit happens here, stuff happens here, that, man, I would love to just numb myself to it. But I don't, because all it's going to do is make me weaker for the next day. And whatever problem I'm trying to run for is still going to be there. So trying to mask my emotions or how I feel about something through alcohol or any other substance is just not for me anymore. Now that I've gotten sober, I'll never drink again. What are you talking about?
Meet up with Heather. So whatever you make.
Yeah, I make
37 that passed away by suicide did it under the influence of alcohol or drugs. That's not a sober thought you have generally. I mean, do I still struggle with that? Yeah, absolutely. Because now I'm stuck with my emotions. Whereas before, I'd mask it. Like this first Memorial Day, without being out, partying and doing my stuff, like, I was in it, man. Shay Younger with the Down South Jukers, our now resident band, whether they like it or not, every single Veterans Day from now until I no longer work here, which is probably a good 20 years, until they get signed by a major record label. Came here, did my thing, and then I did the barbecue, put on the face, and I went home and went to sleep. And I slept for 19 hours till the next morning because I just didn't want to. I didn't want to see posts. I didn't want to see any of that. I just wanted to run away from it, and I was able to sleep, and I did a pretty good job of sleeping. Didn't make the next morning any better. Being hungover wouldn't have made it any better. So I'm glad I've stopped drinking. Well, for one, if you were to ask me, I would say a new facility, not in the middle of downtown Las Vegas, would be a good start. It hinders me I'm surrounded by drugs and alcohol and sex, man. Like, a lot of these people the veterans have addiction issues or spending issues or mental health issues, and we're trying to help them, come back to life. Well, where are we doing it? Right in the middle of the playing field. Like, we need to be far attached from here in a new facility that's not 25, 30 years old, a place that they would be proud of, rather than being surrounded by drug dealers and prostitutes, and alcohol and gambling. Taking them somewhere where it's removed from here, even over by the VA hospital. If I was to put one anywhere, that's where I'd do it. Because now you're talking, you can't miss an appointment because it's right there. Here we're giving them a bus pass and telling them, head down to the VA and hoping that they get there, as they passed all the drug dealers and prostitution and the drugs and the gambling and the alcohol. Like, for me, that's what I would say is the biggest need. Death. Unnecessary, senseless death. Overdoses. Suicide's been a big one for me personally. Just had my 37th suicide of a friend, family member, veteran that I've been close to. And yeah, we just lost another guy last night. He was an addict and a using addict. And last time I carried him up to his room, he had a stroke. And I put him into his room best I could. But that's the last memory I have of him. Seeing them leave with a smile on their face for the right reason is the best part of my job. I'm always there. Even when people aren't for me, I'm always there. I'm Jimmy Pew. I am the Veteran and Volunteer Activity Coordinator for U.S. Vets.
You got an opportunity right now to leave him a message. What would you like to say to him?
Without crying, I'm a crier. Son, I love you and I'm really, really proud of you. Sorry. He's my rock.